Hey friend, welcome to today's episode. This is a timely episode because tax season is upon us. So I have some tips that can help you get ready for tax season that will hopefully help you just get more organized and make sure you don't miss any kinds of deductions. Now, I'm not an accountant, so I will preface that this is not accounting advice. Definitely recommend you talk with a CPA or an accountant for any advice or questions that you need for your taxes. But these are just some overall tips that can help anyone have a better tax season this year and prepare better for all the seasons to come. Plus some tips at the end in case you are getting a refund for some good ideas that will help you in your financial goals. I'm sure most of you know that taxes can be a stressful time, especially if you typically owe money. And if it can be a great time if you typically get a refund. It's a time that you look forward to if you're getting money back, but it can be stressful either way. So these tips today can help you get better prepared for the upcoming tax season, which is right around the corner. So these tips are just to help you save some money or have an easier time during doing your taxes this year, and just some things to think about so you can make sure you're not missing any critical deductions or credits that you are allowed to take. So it's really important to get organized. The first thing is making sure you have all of your documents ready to go, especially if you have a tax professional doing your taxes. They are not going to be wanting to wait around as you're gathering additional documents. So staying organized can really help reduce your stress all year long when you're getting close to tax time. So I recommend having a file somewhere where you can collect all of the documents you need. And it's great to have a list prepared in advance that you can just keep from year to year on all of the documents that you are expecting to show up in the mail or electronically. Since they do come in multiple places, you want to make sure that you're getting everything you need before you actually start preparing your taxes. And I have found that keeping this list has really helped me from year to year, and most things are still items I need each and every year. But occasionally each year I'll have one or two things fall off that I no longer need, and a couple things that I know now are new things that I need, maybe from job changes or just different life events. So I keep a note on my phone and I can just go through and put an X next to anything that as it shows up. And then after I've done my taxes, I just get rid of the X's and save the note for it next year. This list can also help to bring any attention to any documents you have not received yet. So if you are expecting W-2s, 1099s, any kinds of documents that you're expecting from investment accounts, etc., this will alert you to what has not shown up in the mail yet. So having one location to start collecting each document is helpful, so you can just put them all in there, and then once you have them all in one place, you are ready to do your taxes. And this is the same for electronic. You can have an electronic file where you save the documents, or you can print them out and keep them in the file with other hard copy documents as well. Also helps to have a place where you keep all your receipts throughout the year for things like childcare, medical expenses, donations, anything that can be a deduction or a credit on your taxes. If you have any kind of a business, having all of your receipts for expenses for the business, any kind of documentation is going to be necessary as well. And it can also be helpful to track your expenses and deductions all throughout the year. So if you are great with like spreadsheets or just even writing down on a list, if there aren't too many, you can log them by category. So you can log all of your childcare expenses together every time you've had to pay childcare throughout the year, and then it's ready to go when you go do your taxes. Or same with medical expenses, same with any potential deductions, just having them jotted down in a list can be helpful. And you want to check with your accountant as well as far as any education costs that may be deductible, any work-related purchases, if you have to buy uniforms, if you pay for union dues, all that kind of stuff can potentially be deductions for you. So check with your accountant so you are getting credit for everything that you possibly can. And document all of your donations, your charitable contributions, anything that you have donated to a nonprofit organization, a church, anything. They all add up. So even if you have small ones over the year, they add up, and you want to document all of those and deduct them at the end of the year as well if you are able to. And then make sure you check with your accountant on any kinds of credits that you may be able to take advantage of, especially like earned income tax credits, child tax credits if there's a new child in your family. If you now have a child and you didn't before, then there are new credits potentially for you and new dependents that you will be able to claim on your taxes. Also, student loan interest. If you are paying student loans from college or university, those can be deductible potentially, even like supplies that you purchase, potentially books, things like that. Check with your accountant or CPA and see if all of that can be deducted. Or if you have any kids that are coming up to college age, get to know in advance the types of things that you should be tracking as far as school goes, so that you'll be able to take advantage of those as well. And then another helpful tip for getting organized is just to mark deadlines on your calendar. So if there's anything on your calendar you're expecting, like W-2s to show up from jobs or tax appointments you have or deadlines on taxes, just making sure that you have them and you have reminders set so you are not dealing with anything at the last minute. Since taxes do take some time, and make your appointments early if you are getting them done by a professional. Have them done early so that you have time to plan. A lot of times, if you don't have an appointment until last minute, they are completely booked and you may be looking at having to go with somebody more expensive because you have waited to the last minute. Okay, now here are some tips on simplifying your process. So making filing easier. You can look and see if any kind of tax software might work for you in your situation. The less complicated your taxes are, the more likely the software can work really well for you and be less expensive than going through a professional. I have done my own taxes through tax software for my entire life, and I've owned multiple businesses. I've had real estate investments. I even currently have mineral rights investment that I have as an inheritance. So all of those so far, children, daycare, all of that, I've been able to use through the tax software. It's very user friendly, and they often have people that you can just reach out to for help for any questions if you get stuck. But it usually encompasses a wide range of things that I have need, and I have not ever absolutely had to have a professional do my taxes. You can look into certain apps that can make tracking throughout the year easier. Like, for example, if you get mileage deductions, you can use mileage apps that make it so much easier so you are not forgetting any trips that you take for volunteering, for work trips, using your own car if you are self-employed, whatever your mileage deduction is. If you get to deduct mileage, it can be really easy to forget to track it, especially if you're doing it manually. So look into apps. They do usually have a subscription, whether it's monthly or annually, but it can be way worth the money if you don't forget to track the mileage and you get those deductions. Look into free resources as well. So there's IRS free file available for certain people. There's a program called Vita, VITA, that can be eligible. That can be a good program for eligible families. There are different community options in your local community potentially that can offer free tax preparation help. So look into your local area and the programs that you may have availability if you are lower income or just because they service your area. And then of course, consult a professional if you have any kind of a situation that you're unsure about, or if you want to know potentially more deductions you have not been taken advantage of that you can interview several different tax professionals and get their rates to find somebody that's more budget friendly, and always ask in your social groups. So if you have a social group in your local area or just your own network of friends and family, see who they use, who's budget friendly, and who's done a great job. All right, and then the last section is some tips on making the most of your refund if you get a refund. And also, if you owe and you don't want to owe again next year, this is the time to prepare for that as well. So I will put that in there. If you owe and you would prefer to get a refund or just come to breaking even as close as possible, do a little research. You can change your W-4 that you have on file with your company. If you have a job employer that you work for, get a W-4 and change your number of exemptions. If you need more money taken out, you'll want to claim a lower number of exemptions. And if you want less taken out of your checks, then you can claim a higher number of exemptions. So every exemption means this is another reason why I shouldn't have to pay as many taxes. So the higher the deduction, So the higher the exemptions, the less they're taking out, and the more you may owe or the less you'll get back as a refund. And I would think about adjusting now so that you have the entire year to plan for that refund. And you can change this at any time. So talk with your HR department or your payroll department at your company, and you can change your exemptions anytime you want. So if you are getting a tax refund, here are some ways that you can really take advantage of that money to further your goals. So if you have already set financial goals, really look at your number one top priority goal. If it's getting out of debt, if it is accumulating an emergency savings, if it is buying a new home, whatever it is, consider using your tax refund to that goal. 100% of your refund, if you can, to your biggest financial goal will propel you, of course, the furthest. But also, if you have some expenses that have come up that you need some of that money for, consider putting as much as possible toward your financial goals. You can also use your tax refund for your future, and I'm talking investments. This could be maximizing an IRA or a retirement account. If there's an amount that you can make up with your tax refund, you can put it away for your kids' college. There are even college savings plans like 529 plan, things like that you can look into and see if you would like to put this money towards those. Also, if you have any home repairs that are going to be needed this year, anything you wanted to upgrade, anything that may in the long run pay off in dividends, like investing in solar power or getting a high efficiency furnace, switching from electric to gas, any of that could end up saving you money in the long run can be a great investment as well to put that money towards those home repairs or those upgrades. And if you don't really have any credit card debt, if you don't really have anything you're saving up for, and any home repairs that are needed, this could be a great time to use that money to start stocking up on things if you want to start taking advantage of low sales prices throughout the year. Allocate some of that money towards a prepper's pantry, stocking up, having an emergency preparedness kit, or just to take advantage of the lowest prices so that going forward, you're able to take advantage and buy everything at its lowest prices all year long, whereas maybe previously you were not able to stock up and start taking advantage of the lowest prices because you needed it at a time that it was not at a low price. It's also a great time now to stock up when there are clearance sales. So anytime things are going on clearance ahead of the time, if you're going to need larger size clothes as your kids keep growing, or new coats, new shoes for their next size, that can be a great way to spend on those items now as you find good deals, as you find clearance sales, even through the garage sale season this summer, so that you are spending way less on those items you're going to need in the future. And I highly recommend resisting any temptation you have to just spend the money on things you don't need. If you are somebody who normally is living mostly paycheck to paycheck, this is a great time to use that money wisely and plan ahead and start making better financial decisions instead of blowing it on things like dining out and things that you don't really care about as much just because you now have it and you haven't in the past. This is the time that a tax refund can be a great way to start turning the tables on your finances going forward. All right, if you have not subscribed, would you please take a moment to subscribe? Next episode, I have a roundup of all of my episodes that save you a ton of money on food and groceries. I have had several, and I'm going to go over the different episodes and how they can help you out. And they are designed to greatly reduce your food and grocery budget every single month, literally forever. So think about the savings there. That is a ton of money that you can save. So hit subscribe if you haven't yet so you don't miss that episode. All right, thank you for spending this time with me today, and I will talk with you in a few days. Blessings to your family.